What's up? My name is Alex Terranova. I am the host of the Dream Mason podcast. Welcome. We started this in 2017 because we wanted to highlight the journey of Dream Masons. There's a Dream Mason in all of us. A Dream Mason is someone who is awake to their dreams and driven by the passion, the purpose, and the desire to turn that dream into reality. We interview athletes, gold medalists, Super Bowl champions, artists, creatives, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, and everyone in between. And sometimes we even walk them through challenges that they're currently facing. So depending on whether you're catching this as a regular interview or a playing with problems segment, there is something for you, whether you're at the peak of your journey, at the low point of your journey. I look forward to having you join me on this journey. And I hope that this show helps you unleash your inner Dream Mason. What's up? And welcome back to the Dream Mason podcast. I am your host, Alex Terranova. We're wrapping up January of this. Man, this month feels like it's flying by in 2021. This is a cool episode today because it's a person. Not only have I never met him or he's never been on the show before, but it takes me back to some of my past. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or you know me, or you've seen my social media or whatever, you probably remember that before I got into executive corporate performance coaching, life coaching, I was in the hospitality business. I opened up about 15 restaurants across the country. I worked for, I don't know, a bunch of different brands. And in my late 20s, I had the pleasure of being on a show called America's Next Great Restaurant, which was an NBC show hosted by Bobby Flay, Curtis Stone. There were some big names on there, but those would be people you might know. That show was on NBC. It was done by the people that do Top Chef. It didn't really do well. It was only one season, but it was on NBC. I was on that show. I got to be the villain. I was kind of a very different person. Let's just be real. I was kind of a dick on that show. I was mean to everybody. I was picking on everybody. I was talking a lot of shit. And I was also having a lot of fun. I remember being on that show. I thought man, how often do you get to do stuff like this? I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to be worried about whether I win or lose. I'm just going to have a good time. And unfortunately, that made me look, I had that Michael Jordan, Gary Payton talking shit attitude, and people don't like that. So I got booted. I didn't win. But after that, I ended up going on to, I did an episode of Kitchen Nightmares, which people always see replaying on BBC and reach out to me. I did it. I shot a pilot for a show called the Wine Crasher, where we crashed wine events, and I acted like basically an obnoxious asshole to discover wine because I don't know about wine. And then I moved to New York to run a restaurant group, and a couple years later, I found myself needing to change. But I bring all this up because our guest today is really doing, in his version of it, what I wanted to be doing at that time, which was to be on food shows. That's why I took that path. I was ready to be out of the day-to-day of the restaurants. I wanted to be on food shows, and I got a little taste of it, but he is really pursuing this. If you're on TikTok, you probably know who he is. If you like food, you might. He had a 2 million viral view video on deep fried water, which we're going to have to talk about because I'm not on TikTok. I don't know what that means. He has been on Food Network numerous times. He's right now pitching and working on 3 to 5 shows with different networks. He won Supermarket Stakeout. We have a connection, and we both worked with and have worked on TV food shows with Bobby Flay. I'm curious to know what his opinion of Bobby Flay was. I had a really good experience of Bobby Flay. Welcome to the Dream Mason podcast, the Trendy Chef, Stephen Moore. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Nice to be here. That was quite an introduction. That was pretty dope.
So
Yeah.
I know you said you're in LA right now because you're working on some shows, right?
Yeah, we've been filming 2 days, doing a pilot for my very own show, partnered with one of my brothers, and it was great, man. Definitely can't say much details, but it was dope vibes. Definitely some dope A-listers. It was amazing. The whole production was just professional. It was huge. It's going to be, man, it's going to be something amazing. Can't wait for the world to see this.
Let's give some people some background on you. I know that you went to culinary school, so that was the route that brought you in. Did you work in restaurants before you went to culinary school?
Oh no, man. Culinary school. So Basically, I was in a lot of like trouble. I was raised by a single father. I was
Okay.
in a lot of trouble, man. Like, my older sister passed away in 2005 from gun violence. So
Oh
I
man, I'm
was
sorry.
definitely, I was in the streets. I was like running around, just doing just crazy stuff. And my dad, it was just him. He didn't know how to cook at all. It was hot dogs, bologna sandwiches, and ramen noodles every single day. So it was just so, and then, I saw the hurt on his face when, my older sister passed. I was like, I'm running around the streets. I gotta change. I gotta figure out something. I literally just saw and never cooked anything. When I went to culinary school, I was one of the only students that couldn't even cook an egg, not a hard boiled egg, not a scrambled. I couldn't cook anything. I barely even knew how to light a stove. Like I had no experience at all. So when I went, so I saw an infomercial. It was like, go to culinary school. Like some, I was like, let me sign up and just see what it's about. In my mind, I didn't know anything about cooking. So I'm like, maybe it's like a home ec class, in high school or something. It was not that. I was like, let me go there and, you know, learn how to bake a cake or something. And then from there, um, I fell in love with it, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Even the fails, I was failing as far as like kitchen skills. It took me a while to learn, but my junior semester, I was in a 2-week competition. It was 1,200 students and I placed first. While everybody was out partying, we're young, we're in college, everybody wanted to party. I was studying my book, which actually the Flavor Bible was stuck and glued to me, man. I love the Flavor Bible still to this day. But I was studying techniques, studying the legends, studying the greats, and they were like, "This guy is not playing." Like while you're out partying, I'm just studying, studying, studying. I just fell in love with it, and winning first place. That's actually how I got the name the Trendy Chef. When I went on stage to accept my award, I had on a fedora, when I had on overalls, and then I had on my chef coat over the overalls, and I had on like taco socks. They're like, "You're weird, bro." Like, and then they were like, but you're like a trendy chef. Like I would never know that you cook and that you're this good. And that's when I got the name, man. And that's when I fell in love with it. And I literally knew nothing. I didn't have my first steak till I was 16 years old. I worked at Food for Less Market and I saved up a 2-week check just to buy a steak because I really
Wow.
didn't have any money. And then I made it myself, destroyed it, of course. It was like over well done. But it was like, dang, this is something I created. Let me try to see where this goes. And now I'm the only student in the history of that school to win a Food Network show. People have been on like Hell's Kitchen, which is not Food Network, but they've been on
Sure.
certain
Sure.
shows and nobody's won. And I was the first. I went from not knowing how to make an egg at that school to being the only student to ever win a Food Network show. So that was dope. And
That's
this was
funny.
recent, and this was just last year, like mid years when the show aired. Um, right during COVID, right? When the whole COVID thing is when that show
Yeah.
aired. I was like, oh shit.
When did how long ago did you go to culinary school? How long has this process been?
9 years. I graduated 9 years ago. And from there, actually it was funny because I didn't go to like a restaurant. Like everybody thinks they're chefs when they graduate culinary school. You are
Sure.
not a
Yeah.
chef. You're not a chef. You're not Bobby Flay. Everybody's like, we're going to go to these high-end restaurants. And we got an opportunity for a business owner that they came up there and they had one of the first mobile pink hot dogs trucks. So if people know Pink's hot dogs in
Yeah.
LA, it's in Vegas, but it's not mobile. It was just a location. So they had a mobile where they actually went to like Coachella Festival and all these huge festivals. And who doesn't love Pink's hot dog? And who doesn't love a hot dog at Coachella? It's 100,000 people per weekend. Um, and people were like, no, we're chefs. We're not making hot dogs. So I worked for this lady for years. And finally, she was like, you know what? You've been making hot dogs for a while now. I know I got you from culinary school. I know you want to do some chef stuff. So cater this event and we'll talk about it after. I'm like, who am I catering for? She said, we'll talk about it after. Just get the food out and get it, beautiful. So I
Mhm.
did that. And then she's like, well, let me introduce you who you just cooked for. And then then Jay Leno, sorry. Jay Leno walks in and I'm like, whoa, that's Jay Leno. Like all I knew was like him from all the cars and everything.
Sure.
I was like, dang. And I was like, that's crazy. And the way that he loved the food, I was like, this is something I need to do. And I talked to her and I was like, hey, you've been teaching me a lot. I want to open up my own catering business. She's like, it's not easy. So I opened up my own catering business. And after that, it just took off. I started meeting a lot of celebrities, I have celebrity friends. And after that, it was just like, this is it. This is what I want to do. Next to the restaurant. Never open, I never had a restaurant yet, but that's actually the goal, just the next goal right now. I have an idea for a restaurant. I've never, it literally, I have an idea that a patent for a restaurant idea that's never been done ever. And I'm like, whoa, like to my mind, people are like, how do you think of this crazy stuff? The deep fried water, the donut glazed chicken wings. And I got stuff for it because I worked in like some nice restaurants
Mhm.
and chefs are like, once I stopped doing the fancy 5-star, Michelin star, all that stuff, then I worked in some Michelin, I actually helped out in some Michelin star restaurants. I went to Florence, Italy for 3 months to eat broth to cook with those chefs. I also went to Thailand for 3 months to cook with those chefs. So I was really into the culinary, things of it. But then I was like, you know what? Social media was out. Social media was going crazy. I was like, let me have some fun with this. Let me start deep brown water, bacon wrapped chicken wing. Let me start stuffing chicken wings with mac and cheese. Let me do, and then that's when it blew up for me. They was like, you're doing the most insane stuff I've ever seen in my life.
I love I love this. It reminds me, so when the show that I went on was my concept was, when you go to like California Pizza Kitchen, you can get any food from the world on a pizza, right? Like it's Thai pizza, barbecue pizza, like whatever. And I was like, my concept was it was called Hard and Soft, the taco bar. And it was the idea that why don't we do that with tacos? Like if a tortilla is just a like a blank canvas, why don't we have like chicken parm tacos? Why don't we have like like Thai tacos. Why don't we have fried chicken
Yeah.
tacos, right? And I did that show and it didn't work for the show, but when it was funny, like about 6 months after I got out of that show, I was trying to raise money to open the restaurant, and that concept started popping up all over. All of a sudden, people were like, had I'm not gonna say
Man.
stealing mine, right? Because I don't think anything is like totally original, but it was all over the place. And now
Yeah.
you can find a bunch of places that do that. I love when I looked at your social media, it's you cook like I cook, which is it feels like you cook from your heart. Like you're like, "Man, I love mac and cheese. I love fried chicken. I'm gonna like put them together." Or, I made a mac I was running a bar in LA about 10 years ago, and I made a mac and cheese pizza, and I started putting like maple syrup on breakfast burgers. And people were like, "Why are you putting maple syrup on breakfast burgers?" And I'm like, "Because when you eat breakfast, you got hash browns, you got maple syrup. Why would you not put maple syrup on a
Yeah.
breakfast burger?" But if people go to your social media, that's what they find is like this creative, like fun, adventure of food. You're not doing what normal people do with food. You're like, it's like a big experiment. And I mean,
Yeah.
look, I want to eat your food. It looks good. Um, what I love too
Yeah.
about,
Like,
go ahead.
okay.
No,
Oh,
you,
no, I was saying like even with the vegan, I'm trying to incorporate vegans now, plant-based people, because I always get asked, why don't you do vegan plant-based? I was like, if I can figure out a way to do it and still be the trendy chef. So the first post I did, it was actually a vegan California burrito. And then it had of course the Beyond Meat in there. It
mhm,
had a plant-based tortilla wrap. It had, instead of fries, it had sweet potato fries. It had a vegan sriracha aioli in there, and the vegans was loving it, man. Some of our people were like, "Don't do this too much. We want the real." I was like, "No, I gotta
sure.
definitely do it for the
Yeah.
vegans too, man." But I don't see a lot of people doing that right now. I don't see a lot of people
No,
like
you're right.
vegan food, plant based food is everywhere, but they don't do anything crazy with it. Like I've never seen. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I never seen California burrito vegan like that, like the way I did it with the sweet potato fries and how I did it. I was
Yeah.
like, man, this is dope. So I'm definitely gonna branch off into that a little more too.
Nice. I love that. So I became a vegan for 2020 for the first time and been it
Mm.
since. And I mean, like, besides the fact that I feel the best I've ever felt, like when people are like, what do you just eat ramen all the time? I'm like, no, that the way you cook, I think lends itself to any style because it opens your mind to like the creative juices. So I'll be sitting there and I'm like, all right, I want lasagna, but I can't have lasagna as a vegan. So how do I make cheese out of cashews? What do I
Oh,
use to
yeah.
change? And I think that like that style of cooking, all of a sudden it just everything's becomes an experiment and it's
Yeah.
fun. I really like it. I also like what I wanted to say before was I think your journey is really cool because you didn't become famous overnight. It's not like you graduated from culinary school, became a chef. Like you're right. Everybody, when I used to run restaurants, we would laugh at culinary students that would walk in and want to work because we're like, you can't handle a line, you can't pump out food fast enough. You might know how to make some like fancy recipes, but that's not what we do here. We need to like pump out good food for customers. Um, but I love the journey because I think so many people, we live in like a microwave culture where, right, everybody wants to be like famous right now, successful right now, and they don't want to go through the process. And your process of getting on to all these shows is almost like a 10-year process you've been in.
Yeah, long, long journey, man. As I tell people, it do not happen overnight. I just like it's crazy because even after the Food Network, I had to use that platform myself. Like Food Network didn't, they might have posted me once and something quick,
Yeah.
just to, but that I had to use a platform myself to, hey man, I'm a Food Network winner just to get in like a door. And
Yeah.
then once I got in the door, that's it, man. Start meeting celebrities and start meeting a lot of clients and start building a name. So even after you win a show like that, you're still not like, oh yeah, I'm the man, I'm famous. No, now the work is beginning. Now
Yeah.
you have to put in the work. So yeah, it's not overnight. It took a long time, man. Very long. And I'm still going right now.
What I'm curious about like the mindset. You know, you came from a you like self-described a world that was like unsafe, violent. How did you it's pretty amazing that you like took yourself out of that because that's not like look, people do it, right? But it's not easy to do.
Oh yeah.
And all the thing imagining all the people around you, everybody was wrapped up in that. So how did you like remove yourself from a situation that wasn't, let's just say, like, supportive of the person you wanted to be? Like, what were the
Yeah.
challenges in that?
It was really hard, man, especially with the old group I used to hang out with. They used to, not like kind of make fun and not make fun. It's like, man, what are you doing? You putting on an apron, man? No, we got to go out, man. These guys want to fight. Oh man, we
Yeah,
got these girls that want to hang out. They want to drink all night. And I was like, nah, man, I saved up to move out of the city that I was in, which was Moreno Valley. I love Moreno Valley. I get back to the city. Definitely shout out to Moreno Valley Matters. They're big on Instagram as far as, Moreno Valley goes. Even my old principal, it's crazy because my old principal and teacher called me from my old high school and they were like, and I didn't take it offensive because I tell people the story, they're like, you didn't take that offensive. They're like, how are you still alive? And people, oh, that's offensive. No, my dad says that. Everybody says that because I've been shot at. I've been, doing crazy, so many crazy things that people are like, how did you get to this spot? And I'm like, I have no idea how I not only got out of that situation, but won the Food Network show, opened up businesses. And I was like, I have no idea. So, I really don't know. I just removed myself. I started, I was a troubled kid. So I go to a lot of juvenile hall centers and I speak to those kids. Of course, before COVID, I can't wait to this thing slow down. I want to get back to it. But I speak to those kids and I give them an opportunity upon release to join my cooking class. I have a cooking class at 5 different Boys and Girls Club locations from the ages 5 to 16. And, their favorite foods, Pop Tarts. Okay, you love Pop Tarts? And let me show you how to puree your own strawberries or your own
uh-huh,
fruits, your own berries, and make your own pastry so you know what's in the Pop Tart. Instead of going to get this store bought stuff that you don't know all this artificial flavor and all this crazy stuff in there. And they learn how to make their favorite junk foods from scratch, chicken
nice.
nuggets, ketchup from scratch. They was amazed that, I can make ketchup. I'm like, anything that you see in the store, you could eat. Someone made it. So you can make this stuff. So yeah, I'm big with the youth, man. Big on trying to prevent what happened to me because I feel like it was a blessing, but it was a lot of luck because I
Yeah,
shouldn't be here, and not a lot of kids got lucky. Like a lot of my friends, life like triple life sentences in jail, triple life. I'm like, I didn't even know a number exists. I'm like, what is triple life? Like, so all these kids around me just start dying, start going to jail, and I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? Like, I don't need any of that. Then we had my son at the age of 21, and that's when I actually went to culinary school. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to do something. I have a son on the way. I got to show him that anything is possible. I don't want him in that environment. And that's when I just took off running with what I got going on. I saw like the faces on the kids, like how appreciative they were. We'll be in the store with my kids, and a kid will walk up to me and notice me from TikTok, and their parents like, "Well, who's this guy?" And then people will walk up to me. They saw me on the Food Network, where they want autographs. We came and sit down. Like when we can't even really sit down and eat in my city because everybody I live in the city of Temecula. It's so small. A lot of people know me out there. The Food Network winner, the TikTok guy.
Yeah.
So we can't even go down and eat or do anything without people wanting to take a picture. And my kids like think it's so cool. So I just like that's what it's all about, man. It's just
What
motivating and inspire.
is your dad still around?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's my best friend, man. I'm actually going to see him right now.
What does
He was a
what does he think about all this?
um,
Like going from ramen and like, like what's his take?
oh man, he loves it. He's like so proud of me. He's like, I don't know what I do without you because he doesn't have a lot of money. He's still living in the neighborhoods that we still lived in like growing up, and I'm trying to still that's my goal. I was like, Dad, by the end of this year, I promise I'm gonna get you out of that situation. I got you. So he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I believe in you. So I see you going up, going up. You got featured on NBC, CBS, Fox. I've been all around doing all kind of stuff. So he's like, man, I see it going. And I was like, that's what I do it for as well. My children and my dad. I told him he's 71 years old, veteran, fought the Vietnam War. He's been through it all. And he's the reason that I'm a man because he taught me only thing I have to do is put a roof over your head and feed you, which his food wasn't the best food. But he was like, I bought my own gifts. I bought my own car. I wasn't one of those ones. I get a car at 16 from my aunt or my parents bought me a car. I saved up $400 and bought a Volkswagen Jetta lime grade. The back doors wouldn't open up. Had a moon roof. I just had to grind my whole life. So I just used the grinding on the street to
Yeah,
make it legitimately like a actual legal grind, actual,
sure.
not saying, well, that was legal too. I worked that food for less, but just doing crazy stuff fighting for money. Like literally, we were fighting the street for money. Like that was it. When I think back, I'm like, I was such an idiot. And there's so many kids that don't think
Yeah.
they think they're smart and they know it all. I'm like, no, man. Let me tell you my story, and it actually touches a lot of kids. They're like, I don't want that to happen to me. You've been what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to prevent that, man. Trying to prevent it.
What also reminds me too of I interviewed I had a few interviews recently where I was talking to some people about like race and culture and how it impacts their life. And somebody said something to me that like was really eye-opening was they were like, as a young black man in America as a child, I looked around and I thought I could be a rapper, a gangbanger, or an athlete.
Yeah,
And we them and I were talking about this because I was like, man, when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I could be a lawyer, I could be a right, all the because I see people that look like me doing all the things.
yeah,
And it was the first time in my life I went, oh fuck, that's like a thing that you don't realize unless you don't know, right? Like you grew up and like I can't think of a lot. There's not a lot of black chefs
yeah,
and I'm picturing as you're talking, I'm like, "Man, you're making an impact on these kids that are going, 'Wait, I could be a chef,'" right? Which
yeah.
maybe they didn't even know that was an option before.
Exactly, man. That's exactly what it is. I tell people all the time, like, we have those black chefs, but we don't have a black chef that's talked about like
Mhm.
Gordon Ramsay, like Bobby Flay. That's and especially not from my community. There's no
Yeah,
chefs. From the city of Moreno Valley. There's never been a black chef on the Food Network like that.
yeah.
It's not even heard of. They were, they still like they look at me like you're a chef, like. But I was able to. Oh yeah, yeah. We ready? Yeah, I got like a few minutes. Oh, all right. Yeah,
This is how busy you are. Yeah.
yeah, we wrapping it up out here. But yeah, like there's not a lot of black chefs. There was actually what did motivate me even a lot more, like a lot of friends of mine that did go to jail that didn't get the life sentences that they may have got 5, 6, 7 years. They're like, man, when I get out of here, I want to go to culinary school. I want to cook.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's dope. Because to know these guys and how hard thugs, I'm talking about like these guys are like the toughest guys in Los Angeles. And they're like, nah, man, I want to go to culinary school. I'm like, whoa, that is crazy. I was like, whatever you need, man. Any advice, man. If you want to cook 101, whatever you need to do, let's do it, man. So that's dope to me. That's super dope.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. Like, and it doesn't have to be it's funny, like it doesn't have to be as dramatic, like people listening, what if you do something good with your life, there's people that see it and they're like, wait, I want some of that. Right. It doesn't matter where you come from,
Yeah,
who you are. I get that. Like as I used to be, right? Like I was like kind of drank too much, kind of an asshole at times. And people are like, whoa, he like changed his life. He turned it around. He's positive. He's trying to help people. He's doing good work. And people are like, I want to do that. Um, I think that's really great. I didn't know this about you before we got on here. It's really nice to hear like the ways that you're trying to help other people come up like you did. I know you're busy and you gotta go, so I wanna honor that. Before I let you go though, what's like the next big kind of mountain you wanna climb that feels maybe like challenging or scary?
Um, Man, I definitely want to open up a restaurant. That seems like people think just because you know how to cook, like it's way more to it than you know. You open up
Yeah,
a restaurant than just, oh, I can cook. I'm gonna open up a restaurant. It does not work like that. I've been studying and trying to figure it out, the business side of it. You definitely have to put the cooking to the side just for a second to know, your location, the business side of it, the money you want to put in, the profit. It's a lot to it. So that's definitely big. But I also want to do, I haven't seen it, but I want to do a cooking class for the homeless, which
wow.
is, I haven't seen it, but I haven't even did research on it. But I want to be able to show like some of the homeless because my mom was homeless for a while. That's why I didn't grow up with her. She was like on drugs and all that stuff. But they have to eat too. They get money. They ask them for money and stuff. I can show them how to use that to go and get ingredients where they don't need a stove. They don't need any form of heat and create these dishes that they can actually make out on the street. I mean, I made a lobster omelet. Yeah, it was summertime. It was actually this past summer. It was 118 degrees outside. I set the pan out there for about 2.5 hours with a little bit of oil in it, and I made an omelet. I made a lobster omelet
On the
from
street.
the heat from the sun, and it
Yeah.
was an experiment. And then they went viral. The Shade Room posted it. I think that got like 4 or 5 million views. People like, "You're what? You cooked the omelet using the sun?" And I, recorded the whole thing. Like, yeah, there's no edits. This is like 2 hours later. I left this pan out there. It was hot as hell. Already had cut the lobster super super thin and just cooked it all right there out in the sun. So I was like, man, I wonder if the homeless can do this. Like, I wonder if I can find ingredients and recipes where they don't need a heat or the stove or any of that. So I think that'd be life changing for a lot of people.
That's awesome.
And
Before I let you go, wait, because we didn't talk about it. What is deep fried water?
oh man, deep fried water. So gastronomy. We learned that in culinary school, how to gelatize things. So I literally just gelatized it, and when I gelatized the water, I breaded it like you were bread fried chicken. So I use like a small little like a strained spoon, and then I think I found it online somewhere. I was just finding random stuff, and I gelatized it and I breaded it just like the normal breading procedure. And when that water with the breading hits the fryer, it pops the gelatin on the outside, so it's literally just water and breading. So it's just deep fried water. That's it, just from a water
What
bottle.
does it
Um,
stay together? Like it stays together though? It doesn't like come apart?
it stayed in a perfect ball, and I was shocked. And I did it when I do stuff, I don't even practice it before I start hitting the
Sure.
record button. I just do it. And I was shocked, and they saw this. If you look it up, it's on my page. It's actually not that far down. Because I reposted it. And you'll see like the water is just on like on the spoon. And yeah, I was shocked. It wasn't good. I tell people all the time, like, that's not good. It was disgusting because it's deep fried water. Just like when I deep fried watermelon, it looked beautiful, but
Yeah.
it wasn't good. I think that's what people appreciate from me because I'm not like a chef. Like, no, everything I make is amazing. I experiment, so it was
Yeah.
disgusting, but it was
What's
fun.
the what's of all the things that you can think of that you've made, what's your favorite creation?
um, I don't know. I made so much stuff recently, though. I was super shocked on how good deep fried Kool-Aid was. I was like, "Whoa, this is actually pretty good," and it's kind of like a cake pop. So I was like, this is I judged it before I was like, this is gonna be like the water, it's not gonna be good. But it was a whole different procedure and it was actually pretty good. But I'm known for my chicken wings. I love chicken wings. I do a a chicken Alfredo Parmesan wing, but I actually stuff the wing with the pasta instead of having the pasta around. So I make the Alfredo sauce, I dump it over the wing, but when you bite the wing, the pasta inside of the wing. So just to see the look on people's faces, it's hilarious. They're like, "How'd you get pasta inside of a chicken wing?"
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So that's one of my favorites for sure. My kids love the donut glazed chicken wings. Donut on the outside, you get that saltiness from the chicken on the inside, and it has sprinkles on top. So when I did that, people laughed at me, but we did it at like the Del Mar Fair in California, in
Yeah.
San Diego, California, and we had the longest line at the fair. It was hundreds of people in line for the donut wing. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then it's a fair food, so like
Yeah.
I had a huge picture like this, like, "Is that a wing with sprinkles on it?" Like it
Nice.
blew up.
I like fair food. Fair food inspired me. I did beignet battered Oreos at one point,
Oh,
which is like
dang. Oh,
it's not that hard, right? You just make a
yeah,
beignet batter, dip Oreos and fry them, but like people were all about it. We used to do that at one
man.
restaurant.
Sound like you make some crazy stuff like me, man. That's dope. That's like the foodie, and that's why I say I'm all about the foodies.
Yep.
If you're like not about like trying new things, my page is not for you.
Yeah.
You'll get scared off of my page really fast, man. So yeah, I'm all about foodies for sure. But people like I do all that online, but I like normal food. One of my favorite things is like just beef, like beef patty, Thai food. I love Thai food. I was in Thailand for 3 months. I love Thai food. Of course, that's the street food of Thailand. But man, I love that. I love beef patty, beef paki mao, of course, Jamaican food. I got family in
Do you have a
Jamaica.
do you have a favorite restaurant?
Um, uh, Via Chain restaurant is actually in Oakland and it's in Orange County. Via Chain Laos and Thai restaurants, a mixture. That's the only way. That's the only place where I can get Laos Laotian papaya salad, and they actually do it with the badeg sauce. The badeg sauce is super black sauce. Um, it's like a broth that you can't find anywhere. If you call any Thai places and say, "Hey, I want the papaya salad, but do you do the Laotian version?" 90% of them are going to be like, "No, no. Why would I do that?" But only Oakland and Orange County does the Laotian version, the Laos version
What's it called? What's the restaurant?
uh, Viet Chang. I think that's
Okay.
Viet Chang, Laos Thai restaurant in Garden Grove. It's in Garden Grove and it's in Oakland. And I
Nice.
hope they're still there because they shut down. I just sad. I haven't been there in a long time.
Dude, thanks for being here today. Thanks for I just want to like really acknowledge you for first of all for it's really clear you stick to like who you are. You're not like a you're not here with me right now in like a suit pretending to be something you're not, you're
Yeah,
you, but you found a way to bring you into the world that you wanted to be in instead of conforming to the world that you wanted to be in, which I really appreciate. I love when people are able to bring like their authentic self to what the thing they want to do because so many of us think we have to be that like we have to fit
yeah,
into that world. So thanks for setting an example and being yourself. Thanks for the work you're doing with kids, the homeless, like setting an example for people, that know you, that have known you forever, kids that follow you. And thanks for being creative, man. We don't need more people doing the same boring foods all the time over and over again. We need
yeah.
life is about creation and expansion. So I really appreciate like whatever I wish everybody followed their passion and just brought that mindset that you're bringing to food to whatever they're passionate about. Um,
Yeah.
where can
I,
people go ahead?
I must say, I definitely appreciate you having me, man. This super dope. And I don't think I've done a podcast with like another chef yet. Like you're the first one, like somebody that really knows their food that opened their restaurants and done all this stuff. That's super dope, man. I definitely got to look into everything you've done and the shows you've done. That's dope.
Well, maybe we, when you get ready to open a restaurant, maybe we can talk because that's, I mean,
All right.
I never say I'm a chef. I would like partner with my chefs, right, to work together.
Yeah.
But I had some fun creating recipes and creating food and then giving my ideas to somebody like you and be like, all right, like make, like, it's like I'm giving you raw metal, make it into jewelry, make it
Yeah.
cool. So, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. Where can people find you? Like, what's your TikTok? What's your Instagram? Is it all trendy under the Trendy Chef?
Everything under the Trendy Chef. I tell people all the time, because I have so many, because on TikTok it's Trendy Chef underscore, but everything else is Trendy Chef. But you can Google it too, and all my stuff will pop up from, magazine articles. The trendychefcatering.com is my brand new website. That's my heart right there is catering. That's how I feed my kids. That's how So, we're always booked up. If you need any, catering or anything, the trendychefcatering.com. I also have my own seasoning called the Trendy Chef Everything Seasoning, which people love. It sells out. After the Food Network, I think we sold like a couple of thousand bottles within 45 minutes. I posted on
Nice.
Instagram. And then I have a peach barbecue. I have an instant mix, which is actually a gumbo mix. But if you add more water, you can actually turn it into a broth for, like, or stews, things like that. So I have a lot of different things I'm working on my own chef knife, partnering with some people that are partnered with Bowie chef knife, like the Bowie chef knife. A lot of people don't know about it. It's actually an American culinary still. And we don't have a lot of, I don't, they said to do a lot of research, which I have, and I haven't seen an American still. We got the Japanese, we got the German, but I haven't seen an American still. So it's definitely a knife that everybody's going to want for sure. So I have a lot of stuff going on.
Cool. And do you do, just for people, like, can you do catering anywhere in the country, or is it only like local, so like Southern California?
Oh no, it's everywhere. We haven't left the country yet, but we actually, before COVID, we were in Miami. We did a 250 to 300 people wedding in Miami. So we travel the states, anywhere around the states right now. Definitely haven't. If it's out of the country, it'll be like a celebrity that wants like private, small, something like that. But I do everything from one-on-one dinners, husband and wife, to huge events, weddings, birthday parties. We do it all.
Nice. So
And that's where you get my regular food. Like, people at the wedding, we don't bring the all the crazy stuff I do online. We do, like barbecue menus,
that's the
like
wedding I want to
tri-tip.
be at. I want to be at a wedding where you do the crazy stuff online.
I'm waiting for somebody to ask for that, but they ask for, the craziest thing is like, oh, I want your bacon wrapped mac and cheese. Well, that's not crazy, but
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, we do the regular, the tri-tip, with the chimichurri. We do the regular food. So
Well, if I find that girl, maybe we'll be the first ones. She better hurry
hey,
up.
that
All right,
oh,
man.
you're vegan, so that'd be even more.
Maybe
That'd be
I
that
might I
you
might
said
break. I could break being
like, right?
vegan on for a wedding meal. I don't need to
I was
be
about to say,
so hardcore.
that'd be my way to be, even more creative. I'm waiting for a all vegan. I did an all plant based event in Palm Springs, which I got a chance to learn how to make the eggs, the vegan eggs and all that
Mhm.
crazy stuff. I'm like, man, this is dope. So I'm definitely down to do that as well.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I'm gonna post everything online so people can find you in the show notes. Just keep up what you're doing, man. It'll be cool to see you in, like, a year, 5 years, when we're seeing you everywhere and everybody knows who you are. Um,
Yeah,
but good luck, man.
man,
Take care of yourself.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
All right, you
All right,
too.
talk to you guys soon.
And everybody listening, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to this episode. Please share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you like food, check out Stephen Moore, the Trendy Chef. He's all over. You can find all the links in the show notes. And if you like food, hire him. Hit up the Trendy Chef and let him come cook for you. And I'll see everybody next time. Thanks for listening. Honestly, I'm just a rebel who found a cause and has a dream, and I'm super grateful for your support. If you got anything from this, please help me out and share this podcast with one person today. You can find me at thedreammason.com or at inspirationalalex on Instagram. You are a dream mason because your dreams don't build themselves.